in the end, it was Brisbane far too strong for the struggling Carlton football side, albeit there was some positive signs from Carlton in terms of effort and contest last night that we hadn't seen for a while. But, Kingy, what's your first thoughts after what we saw on Thursday night footy?
Well, there's just a class gap between the two. There's no doubting that. It was a classic Carlton strength when they could win clearance and they could win contested footy. They could get their hands on the ball, but what they couldn't do is what the game's demanding at the moment, and that's take the ball from inside to out.
Yep.
But bang on about this for about 2 years, 3 years now, about the inside to outside game, and they just couldn't handle the heat that Brisbane brought to them, and it was terrific to watch. If you're a Brisbane fan, just to see what they did without possession of the footy highlights why they are where they are. Their pressure in the forward line was enormous, and in the end, it broke goal.
They ramped it up. It felt like there was a clear message to go, hey, our pressure has not been to the level that it needs to be. I think they were 12th coming in for pressure. I think they were 17th for tackles. And that ramped right up. So the tackles inside forward 50 would have been nearly 25, I reckon, tackles inside forward 50. They averaged 11 coming into that game. And that was their focus. And you're right, scored heavily off turnover. What the differential in turnover scores last night, Kingy, it was huge. What was it in the end?
In the end, the number was
I think Carlton only
75 to 25.
That's it. 75 to 25 off turnover, and that's the game.
Yeah, so there's different types of turnover, right? There's different types of score from turnover. And I think when your forwards are prepared to chase and tackle and make it impossible for the opposition to move the ball, then that's the best time. I mean, there are turnover around stoppage in the midfield, and that's sort of, it can go one way or the other in any given game. But when you see Rayner, and Charlie Cameron, Lohman, they just set their sights on harass. I felt sorry for Carroll a couple of times, who took one step and got nailed.
Yep.
It was awesome to watch, and I think Chris Fagan would be thrilled with the way they started the game, the application that they showed. But there has been a shift at Brisbane. There's no doubting this now, and Horny's been onto this with the speed of ball tracking they've been doing.
The shift?
He launched it with us.
He did. He
way
launched
back.
it with us, and then he reheated the soup with you months later.
Soft launch with us.
A
Soft launch with us, and a hard launch
you
with
can't have
first
a
crack.
bigger audience than with us on Fireball.
First crack. Anyway, it was evident that, just looking at the numbers and trying to work out what's happening with the game, the best teams in the competition now are aggressive with their ball use and their direction to goals. It's almost straight to goal. It's corridor. It's back your talent. It's full trust in the players that if you turn it over, that they can stand up behind the ball. And I think this is the way to go. I'm looking at Brisbane who've made it dramatic. You did not see them once last night just chip the ball around down back.
Never. And then all eyes are just for that angle kick inside. That's the only place they want to go. And they might have to go around, but eventually all they want to do is bring that ball back through that angle kick. And then it's the handball off that straight away. Even at times last night, there might have been a Carlton player sort of half a metre off, but they're just giving that ball straight away and getting the overlap game going. There's a play from Motlop early in the game. He takes a mark inside angle kick. He had Cherry there right for the handball. He doesn't give it. The good teams, that is gone straight away. Then you get the deep entry to less numbers inside your forward 50, and Brisbane just take that every time. So they're going to challenge a lot of teams with their ball movement. Dane Zorko central to that, clearly.
Well, and that might find its way into close checking, which I see is back on the airwaves, but that's a discussion for 6 or 7
you
probably.
noticed that, did you?
I noticed that sort of...
Just a soft launch?
Yeah, a little sneak that one through past the legal department from 9. We've got our favourites in the game. We've got players we love to watch, and they're more often than not those are either star mids that can get forward and kick a goal, or they're players that kick goals. You've got to have an old-timer in your favourites list, I reckon. And what Dane Zorko's been able to do at half-back is amazing. He's fast become one of my must-watch players. His ability to make a decision or say, that's my target, that's where I'm going, as quick as he does, is amazing. Do you see him?
Yeah.
He just turns his head, corridor, bang, we're going for it. He missed a couple last night, but when he hits, they score.
He doesn't care if he misses. Well,
No.
we had him on the agenda setters a couple of weeks ago when they had their break. Thanks for watching.
Oh.
He was awesome, but he was saying he wouldn't mind me saying off air, like if he misses a kick, there's no repercussions for that. He's just like, oh, I missed it, but that's my job. Like, I'm going to keep going there. And that's what he was doing it. But
So we've talked a lot about Rory Lobb going down back, right? And the change that it made to the Dogs because they needed to intercept the blah, blah, blah. Is Zorko going to halfback? And he had to do it through necessity because Coleman went down. Is that one of the best moves we've seen in terms of the returns that it's given Brisbane? The best moves we've seen across the comp over the last couple of years?
Be up there, wouldn't it? 043390 out 1116. The ballers will know out there. Send us through your best positional moves that have had a huge impact. He's one of them. Kitty Coleman back through the VFL this week as well. So whether he gets his body right, imagine if he comes back and the weapons with Fletcher.
They lost one last night too.
Ainsworth. That's a big blow. I mean, he started so well and he's a really important player now defensively to shut down that opposition small forward. But get Kitty Coleman back with Fletcher and Zorko. Yeah. Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang. Yep. And go more aggressive, you reckon? Don't worry about defending.
No, they'll defend.
Well, Ainsworth does that critical role. Let's have a listen to Chris Fagan after the game last night about Noah Ainsworth.
It's a bad injury. I think he's ruptured his Achilles. So I'm no medical expert, but I think they're usually around about a 9-month sort of recovery from surgery, which is such a pity. He was playing very well. Terrific game, I thought. He's one of the more popular members of our team. He's the ultimate team player. And we're all very, very disappointed for him. He's a really important part of our premiership team last year, and he's just one of those blokes who'll do anything for you. So we'll all be a bit flat about that.
Yeah, and they're the ones that shake the locker room a little bit. I think the popular guys that go down. Yeah. So that's Payne and Ainsworth now, and this is the time of the year where we start looking at the outs and who's coming back. Is it of better quality than what's leaving? And right now, you'd have to say that's the only stone in the shoe for the Brisbane Lions.
Where do you sit on two rucks for them?
Well, I don't get consumed with the two ruck thing like you do. No, I think if your smalls defend, and even Morris last night ran down a couple. So if they're all doing that, I don't think it matters of the size necessarily.
So you think grand final day will be Ford and McInerney, or do you think it'll be one and maybe Day?
I think grand final. Do you think grand final day? I ask the same question differently. Do you think grand final day the Premier will have two rucks?
I think they'll have one.
Just the one.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a big call. Oscar McInerney missed last year, so if you're going to overlook him again, if it is Brisbane, that would be a huge call considering the emotion that would be attached to that. So they may factor that in, and he may get himself going in a bigger and better way by then with his body.
But Ford can play forward.
Yeah, what can it? Yeah,
he does the same as what Sam Day's doing.
Yep.
Or even Eric Hipwood for that point.
I think he's more of a capable forward, Sam Day, than Ford.
Really?
Yeah.
On what evidence?
Well, how long since you've seen Ford impact a game forward? I know he's done it.
And I can ask you the same question about
Sam.
Sam.
I think he's got more forward craft and more willing and more capable of taking a mark inside forward 50.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want me to give you the numbers?
Well, you can give me the numbers if you like.
I don't want to do it.
So you think
right now that's not the case.
We'll have more marks.
I'm just saying
50,
right now that's not the case.
More marks inside forward 50 than Day.
I don't think it matters either player. You're not really comparing Wayne Carey with Matthew Lloyd.
I understand.
You're talking about.
I just asked you a question whether you think both
ruckmen. I would be more than comfortable to go in with two ruckmen in a big game like a prelim or a grand final, given that other role is not really providing anything of any value.
All right, so Brisbane are in a nice position. They take on the Western Bulldogs at the Gabba next week. That's a big one. Then Gold Coast, Collingwood, Sydney, Fremantle and Hawke. That's a good run into the finals for Brisbane. Whew.
Yeah.
And for the Blues, it gets a little bit easier for them next week with Melbourne. So that's a game they're going to have to compete strongly in and probably win. My toughest of the week is Jared Berry. I just think he's just a very good footballer. That's all he is. Jared Berry, he was awesome last night. I think his tackling, his aerial ability, plays whatever role is required, and I just think he's a gun. So he's my toughest of the week.
You're in the right team. I think you got the wrong player.
You got him dunks, aren't you?
No. Mate, I'm
13 tackles.
Did he?
Yeah.
13.
13.
Yep. He's back.
He's with us.
Geordie. Welcome
He's
back,
with
Geordie.
us.
Yeah, see, my little pep talk during the break worked. Clive Lloyd got snuck through my guard, but the rest has worked out okay. Ryan Lester standing up as the second most important defender down there behind Andrews. With the loss of Payne, he's going to be asked to do a bit more, a lot more.
All right.
And I just love him. I just think that he just gets the job done. He's the most anonymous footballer of all time. If he walked in here, you wouldn't know whether he worked there or whether he was a superstar. But no, I'm just wrapped with his no-fuss approach. He just gets the job done. He's as tough as nails for me.
Roll into work faster with tough-built stack tech rolling draw options, rugged, stacked and mobile. Let's have a listen to the Carlton coach, Michael Voss, on what they'll be focusing on for the rest of the week.
We've got a job to do. So for that next 6-7 weeks, that's what we're determined to do. We've got to impact in a few more phases of the game, and we've got to value defence a little bit more than what we have. Hopefully we've corrected one part, and that we can hold that together, and then we can sort of build on to the next part. I'd like it to all come together at once, but the reality is tonight it didn't, and I reckon it's against a pretty good opposition.
Plus 31 in contested. I think he's referencing to the stuff they got right. Ground ball stuff was really strong. Plus 26, I think, in ground balls. But clearly there's some areas of their game that just don't stack up against the best. And we touched on the turnover stuff, Kingy, but they just look a couple of classes below their opposition.
What are the turnovers? So we just drill into the specifics of what are the turnovers, right? So ensuring the ball gets from inside to out is the number one criteria or bullet point for being an acceptable, let alone gun midfielder in our comp. So near enough is not good enough. There was one handball, and that goes for all players. But
you're going to talk about the McGovern handball.
Oh, my God.
He had Doherty on the inside.
What was that?
I don't know.
He just flicked it over his head into the corridor goal.
Bizarre.
And I look at it and say, are you really treating the ball like gold when you're so flippant with possession like that? And I could only feel for Michael Voss, because he'd be saying, look, I want you to play with a bit of freedom and expansive footy and express yourself and all those sorts of things. And then you see that. That's just confusing. That's just confusing things. So there's an issue there, and that happened all night. That'll be on close checking, no doubt.
So it's not only them not being able to score off turnover themselves, but it's how heavily they get scored off turnover
You
against.
can't defend that.
You can't. And might have been Cowan early on in the first half. He's got the ball unpressured, goes to kick inside. Wiedering had peeled off to provide an option as an outlet. Turnover, Hipwood stayed back, takes the mark 15 metres out from goal and kick you. So, Vossi, I mean, you can't coach for that.
No, but they did a great job to, and again, you don't want to be talking like losers and accepting that you're fate and that you can't win, but to pull it back to 37 points in the end, because we keep saying margins matter now.
It looks 10 goals.
It had ugly. It had ugly written all over it late in the third. So they got our job. They've got one too. They've found one with O'Farrell, haven't they?
Yeah.
He's a beauty.
So last week when I watched him, I thought, he's miles off it.
Yeah.
And then you just see some signs of improvement for him to set marks last night, and you go, okay, he's a pick 40 from not that long ago last year, and you go, gee, there's something there as well.
Yep.
That's why I think a lot of Carlton fans and jump on Blues fans 1300 736 736 are saying and looking at selection, going, we'll just play the kids. I know it's easier said than done, and you've got to be ready. But I think that's what they're alluding to there.
What we do dust over is when the leaders actually play at a level that gives you a chance to stay in the game. So I just thought Patrick Cripps, and even Hewitt to a point, but I just felt the responsibility that he's had to carry, and in the same bracket, the way Michael Voss has handled himself under unbelievable pressure the last fortnight. Jason Dunstall referenced that with him in the pre-game, and I thought, you know what, that's spot on. You haven't heard him whinge. You haven't heard him, shuffle the responsibility to another department. He's taken it all on board, spoken with clarity, and just at a time where it's been a bit messy elsewhere, he's been bulletproof. So I think you've got to be proud of that.
Word perfect has Michael Voss been under the most trying circumstances for it. All right, last week, Kingy, It was unfathomable that you would have Todd Goldstein in the gun.
I felt
last week.
dirty. I felt dirty doing it. I did text you a couple of times
It
through
was
the
your
game.
softest one for the year.
I did
Poor
text you.
Todd.
Wow.
You did.
What are they
You
doing?
text me. That's why I
Play
had
the
Goldie in
kids.
the gun.
Play the kids.
Poor Goldie. He's doing his best. And I had, which I've got to say, has aged incredibly well.
What?
Damien Hardwick for opposition midfielders just running right against them. Just career highs for Merritt, left, right and centre because no one went near him. It's going to come back to hurt him at some point. Now, it might be tonight with Nick. But it'd be
no
nice.
one's been able to stop
Be
Nick.
nice if Damien,
Nick is your example.
who's got one of the greatest run with players I've seen, known to man, in Tuke Miller, actually used him for some accountability.
Offensive weapons.
Accountability. In the gun is for Grays.com, Australia's leading online auction marketplace. Would you like me to start?
Yes.
So, in the gun, I mean, West Coast need to be doing everything right from a list management point of view. Otherwise, it's going to be just carnage, more carnage than it's been. I did note that star midfielder Elliot Yeo is set to miss the entire season after making a slower than expected recovery from his second bout of ankle surgery. It was a really smart decision to give Elliot Yeo 3 years, wasn't it, for a player that never plays? He played a good 10 or 12 games to start last year, and let's just hand him the 3-year deal at the age of 30 when he doesn't play. So that was a good move. Well done. And then I was shocked. I think I might have said this to you. I was shocked when I found out that they had just re-signed Tim Kelly for 2 further seasons, Kingy. I was like, hey, surely Tim Kelly, who has spoken about the fact that he's out of love with football, has been dropped once already this year from the worst team in the comp, and they've just given him 2 years. Well, guess what? I see the teams yesterday. Tim Kelly omitted weeks after they've given him a 2-year contract extension. What is going on with the list management crew at West Coast? Get it right. You're in the gun. Going, sold.
How do they get out? How do they get out of the gun?
Well, not by signing players that are well past their best to multi-year extensions on their contract.
I think you've used the Greys online in the gun for a personal statement, not an in the gun as such.
No, they're in the gun.
That's not in the gun.
They're absolutely in the gun.
Missed the brief.
No, I did not. They're in the gun.
How do they get out of the gun?
Stop making stupid decisions with your list. Would be a good start.
At season's end.
Yeah, well, mid-season as well. Hey, Tim, you know what? Appreciate your service. We'll discuss your contract at the end of the year.
What if they think there's some trade value there and it's better to do with him in contract than out?
If there's a club that's giving up capital for Tim Kelly and not just signing him as either should have been a delisted free agent or not. Anyway, so they're in the gun. Who you got in the gun?
I was going to put my man from Kokomo in there, but I won't.
Not again.
I'm going. There are some games and some. Stop it. There's a time when you recruit a player for a purpose, and sometimes they are just the big games.
Is this the package?
And I am looking fairly and squarely at the package.
I love this.
Jake Stringer has kicked 2 goals a couple of weeks ago and 9 touches. Kicked 1 goal, 2 last week. He's been targeted 36 times inside 50 for 1 goal return. It is time for the package to stamp himself on this football club and be the difference against the Cats. Biggest game of the year for the Giants.
No doubt.
Statement needs to be made. Got this guy for a reason. You've got other tall forwards and medium-sized forwards that are taking a fair bit of heat, taking some quality opposition. Come on, Jakey boy. You are in the gun. Get it done. Going. Sold.
Good changes for both teams. Whitfield and Hogan back in for your Giants. And Bailey Smith back in for Geelong. The package is in the gun for Grays.com, Australia's leading online auction marketplace. It's easy to buy and sell with Grays. So you're in a bit of trouble. You can't have Freo winning, and you can't have the Giants.
Right?
You can't have the Giants winning because you've got the Twitter feud happening with the Giants as well. We've got a call and someone wants to join in with In the Gun. Let's go all the way to Perth and speak to Tim. G'day, Tim.
Oh, hi, David. Hi, Kane. Long time listener, first time caller.
Long time baller.
Guys,
long time baller.
Right,
Get it right, mate.
Hang up and ring back.
Yes. Sorry, guys. But guys, after 8 o'clock your time, I'm going to tune in to SEN WA Breakfast over there.
What's happening over there?
Perth. because Paul Hazeby's on, and he's mates with Justin Longmuir and Tim Gossage. He doesn't like Fremantle. It's going to be a real good joust. But David, I think you're in the gun, David.
Now-
David, I think you're in the gun there in SENWA.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're going to have their first hour all about you, David.
No,
yeah,
Goss,
you're in the
come
gun,
on.
David.
It's going to be all about it.
I think they're all mates with him over there. That's after the discussion.
Yeah. Are you?
No.
Do you
Oh,
think?
yeah, you know
Tim,
what? You know
Tim
what? I'll tell you
Gossage,
something, King.
Do
Yes.
you think?
something.
Hang on.
Yes.
You just be quiet for a minute. Do you think you go easy on the Perth-based teams
Very
over
good
there?
question.
Absolute gut. You've been saying that for years. Hey, let them put the boot on the other foot, Tiger. Right? Let me have a go at you.
Okay.
Did you know that St Kilda are 2 premiership points above North Melbourne, and not one of you blokes,
They're
not
rebuilding.
one of you blokes over there have had one crack at Ross
Goss.
Lyon and their poor season.
Goss.
So I don't think he
Goss.
wasn't appointed to have a rebuild. You blokes
I
have been
couldn't-
conned,
I couldn't
and none
have
of you have got
been
enough balls to have a go at him.
Any harder on Ross and the excuse machine that I've called him
Where's
in
Jay
the past?
Clark? Where's Jay Clark? Where's the senior writer for the Herald Sun?
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, you going to be like this if Fremantle miss the 8, or are you just going to say, "Oh no, he's done a great job, won 13 games"?
Yeah, no, look, he's in a bit of froth and rubble. There's no doubt about that. No, to be honest with you, they'll beat Hawthorn tomorrow night. That's. I think that we can lock that one in. So all of a sudden they sort of
Lock
get
it in.
themselves back. Yeah, well,
All
Hawthorn
right.
can't win here. They've lost their last 4 against Fremantle at Optus. They're
All
no
right.
good.
Are you?
If you're,
are we
hang on,
teammates?
we got to
Goss?
let him go
Yeah,
because
just quickly, because if we are, can you do me a favour? Just stick up for me a little bit over there too,
yeah,
please.
stick up.
I
for-
love you, Kingy.
I hope
yeah.
you've
Right.
got his back here, Goss. I hope you've got his back. Tim Gossage
Always.
there.
Love it.
4 items on the agenda today, and that is the 4 big games remaining
Wow.
in this round. Starting tonight, it is Gold Coast taking on Collingwood. Gold Coast will start as the underdogs in this game. And Collingwood, I don't know why, because I just think they've rested a couple again. And at some point, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them, and this amazing run of form isn't going to continue. I suspect that happens tonight. Gold Coast at home are a different side. They're a good side. 2 changes for them. Witts comes back in. That's a big one. Swallow, Moyle and Sexton are out for the Pies. Side bottom, Schultz and Cox. So a couple of good ins there for the Pies. Lipinski and Mychek have been managed. Kingy, all aboard Gold Coast tonight?
Well, it'll be an exciting game. I'm really looking forward to these games of footy. What Collingwood do is ingrained in every player at Collingwood. Like, there's just doesn't really matter who represents.
You're right.
They just come in and play the system perfectly.
Yep.
Lipinski's a big out, and so too Mychek. It's hard to tip against Collingwood. You just look at their lineup and you say, "Gee, they got class here, class there." Still very settled. Everyone's saying it's the biggest game on the Gold Coast, for a decade. You feel if they win this, the top 4 is still there, isn't it? We never really talked about them being top 4. You're right. I didn't have them in my head as that, and it probably is. It's a huge game for Ben King. He's got the match up with Darcy Moore.
Yep.
Toughest defender in the comp right now. How do you see Ben?
You think he's the toughest defender in the comp right now?
Well, we went through it the other night. Joey went through it, and who is the All-Australian centre-half back or fullback right now?
We've discussed that a lot. I don't need to throw up any
No.
suggestions.
There's
but
not many
it's the
that are
hardest
going
position.
better than him.
Okay, you'd have him in your All-Australian team right now?
I'd have to think about it, but
Okay.
yeah. I don't know who the second one would be.
Big night for your boy, Mac Andrew.
Yeah, he's come off a little bit, hasn't
What
he?
did you call him? Macadaisical?
He's just very casual.
After you had a crack at me for saying sheezy ball, you thought that was disrespectful, and then you've just come up with
it.
it.
Easy ball.
Yeah, when you meant
Casual.
macadaisical,
Casual.
meaning
What's
lackadaisical,
casual?
which also same things.
Casual.
It's just a tagline.
I'm not saying he's getting
You
cheap
said it
kicks
was
and he's a soft receiver.
disrespectful.
I'm saying he's casual. And I need him to get back to his best. I need him to do more than just spoil the
Have
ball.
a crack at me of a tagline, and you live off the taglines.
But your tagline meant anyway, I'm not going to get, that's an old discussion. We've been through that. Bailey Humphrey is one that's really, I think, shifted the course of their season
Yes.
up there. Let's hope he goes again. And Noah Anderson is fast charging towards Brownlow medal favouritism. He's up against the absolute favourite in Nick Dacos tonight. I don't think they'll tag Nick. I don't think they can. I think they'll go head to head and see what happens.
Well, they don't. Damien Humphrey just lets them run free. We've seen it. Career highs for Holmes, career clearances for Green. Saw Cozzy Pickett light it up against them, and last week Zach Merritt with more room than anyone's ever had. So they back their own system in. We'll see how that works.
Dan
for
Houston's season. Have you seen it?
average, really average.
Needs a night, doesn't he?
Just average for Dan, and which was surprising because I was really suggesting that he could be one of the better players in the comp. Just hasn't found it. I'm sure he will, and still done some nice things. But his season's been average to poor, I would have thought. Let's move on to the Western Bulldogs hosting the Crows. This game was supposed to be in Ballarat. It's now under the roof, which I think suits both teams probably. 2 changes for the Dogs. Davidson Dolan in for Adelaide. Cook, I haven't seen Chase Jones for a while. He's back in, the first-round draft pick from a number of years ago, and Wayne Miller is a really good addition to their back 6. Smith is out, Murphy's out, and Rochelle will struggle to get back, you would think, for finals. The Dogs just win, don't they?
The Dogs just win.
Yeah, I would have
The
thought.
Dogs just win.
Have you seen their line? Have you seen their lineup? They have 4 of the 5 best players in the competition. The Western Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to possibly?
I'm not worried about that end of the scale.
I know you're not, but their back 6 is no worse than Adelaide's. Bottom 6.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Really?
Yeah. Little Isaac, he's going to be a headache for them. I'm not sure who gets the job on Isaac when he's forward. Do you trust Bramble to do the big job down there? I think that he's such a difficult matchup. And these talls, I mean, if you are ever going to get some luxuries, O'Donnell was torn apart last week.
So if the tools don't work for Adelaide this game,
if they don't work,
well, this is serious questions.
yeah, well, it's about performance. Nothing's terminal.
Yeah. So how many between them?
Well, I think if they're to win,
9.
if they're to win, they
3 each.
9's a lot.
Well, you're probably going to have to kick 16 goals to win.
Yeah,
You'd think
Rankin kicked 5 last week.
3. Well, they can't rely on him every week. So at some
Your
point,
numbers, seriously. If you're going to come with this rubbish discussion every week about the 3 tools, give me some numbers on what 3 tools actually deliver or what 2 tools actually deliver.
Well, a bit more than
Numbers. I want information, not just hysterical.
Well, I'll tell you. Horny would suggest that against the top 8 sides, Adelaide's attack is 17th. So there's a number. You can also look at the.
But there's more to the attack
ability.
than just 3 tools rather than 2 tools.
I understand
Thank
that.
you,
But you
Kane.
can also look at their offensive output, which has fallen off a cliff since about round 7. You can look at Fogarty's numbers if you want individually. You can look at Walker. You can look at Thilthorpe. Not the same player that he was in the first 10 weeks of the season.
So who are you dropping?
Well, it's either Walker or Fogarty, and that they will perform their way in or out of the side. But you can't play all 3 of them for the first final. You can't.
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah, I know you do, and I knew you're probably right. But whether that's the right thing to do or not to give yourself the best chance to
But
win.
the next player coming in is not going to add the value or the potential point of difference that those 3 have. It's an old discussion we've had. I love the fact that Rankin now is become that stoppage player again in the forward line. That was, I think, his greatest asset when he was at the Suns way back when. He could turn a static play into a score in a heartbeat.
So I get the feeling you're tipping Adelaide here.
I think they can win it. It's a genuine 50-50. I don't know what the odds lean us towards or who's favourite. But yeah, I think the Crows will give a good account of themselves.
JJ will tell us shortly, but the Western Bulldogs pretty convincing favourites on this one, and I think rightly so. I think the Dogs win by 4 or 5 goals. The Giants and Geelong's a good game. You touched on it with the package and putting him in the gun.
What a Saturday!
Yeah,
Wow.
it's good. It's a good couple of games there. Where are you thinking? Because you've had your questions over the Giants and how boring they are.
Plain Jane Giants,
Have
yeah.
you changed your
Well,
thoughts?
they've got more aggressive, haven't they? And the last time these 2 teams played, it was just a shootout. It was just let's go. And Finn Callahan started everything from down back, and they were all corridor, and then into the forward line they were just having their way with the Geelong
Send
back
someone
6.
to him, Callahan.
I would,
You have
yeah.
to.
I think they trusted their mids to do it last time in Smith and Holmes, and they got taken to the cleaners. So I would expect that he would get a run with roll. Would it be Mullen? Possibly be Mullen, do you think?
Probably Mullen.
Hogan's obviously the wild card back into the lineup. These are two really good teams, and in the end, it's going to come down to taking your opportunities. I feel like Dangerfield and Cameron are going to hold the aces to this game.
Yep. And then finally, it's the David King Cup, where we have Hawthorn taking on Fremantle. Freo hosting my Hawks, not your Hawks, because we know that you don't have a lot of time for Hawthorn. You certainly don't have a lot of time for Freo. And you'll be off.
True.
You'll be off on Monday. So
Not true.
I can't have a bit of fun with you on Monday about the result of this game.
I might ring in just to let you.
You really can't lose here.
Can't win and can't lose, whichever way you look at it. So footy's the winner. I'm looking forward to seeing the Hawks on the road. I think this is a huge challenge for them. Everyone will be tipping Fremantle to win this game. Kel Shadir back in the lineup.
Will everyone be tipping? This is genuine 50-50. So if you're asking who the favourite, this one is just a 50-50 game, according to Josh Jenkins.
According to Josh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens.
So a couple of changes for the Hawks. Kel Shadir is in. The finisher, Finn McGuinness, back in. For Freo, they've lost Alex Pearce, which is an issue for them. He can't get going. McDonald and Switkowski come in. Max Ramsden is out. I'll ask the genius about that. I thought he actually looked quite good last week, but no love for Max after he was subbed out. We'll ask Mitch about that, who's going to join us, and we'll have a bit more of a deep
Finn
dive
McGuinness,
into this one.
Where do you reckon he's going? Where do you reckon?
You'd hope he's going to Sarong.
Oh,
You would hope.
be nothing surer.
You would hope that the genius has had a look at Sarong's numbers. When he gets plus 28, basically they win. If you can restrict him to under that, basically they lose.
Yeah, so another week of looking at James Sicily and seeing how he's tracking. I think that the form of Barris and Battle's really strong, so they've got the big challenge of Tracy and Voss.
Yep, good challenge for Meek as well. Lloyd Meek against
Meekie.
the two rucks.
Yeah, it is, and he's in great form, Big Meekie.
Are you surprised that Fremantle have gone in this tall after subbing out Voss and Jackson has to spend a lot more time forward, clearly, with Darcy back in? You think they've touched too tall? Amos, Tracy, Jackson and Voss?
Well, you do. It's clearly your thoughts.
Well, there's four now. There's four.
Yeah.
Well, they obviously think that as well. They did last week. Otherwise, they wouldn't have subbed out Patrick
The prancing pony.
in crunch time.
No, which I don't know why they subbed Voss instead of Amos. He just doesn't look like it at the moment, does he?
Nope.
He needs a big week, Jai Amos.
Would you say he's in the gun?
I don't want to say too much about Fremantle anymore. I think we'll just let sleeping dogs lie.
All right, because if they had $1 for the amount of times that you've criticised
They'd be
Freo,
off to
guts up.
the Bahamas.
That'd be guts up.